Hi, everybody. Hopefully this time it'll actually work. I was having some technical difficulties working with the screen because it had to be, for the first time I had to actually scroll it. Today we're going to be doing the IXL algebra section. This is the coordinate plane review. This is all about identifying points. Basically, you need to be able to identify where coordinate plane points are. That's with the X and Y values. And the best review for this is actually to do those pictures that go along with this. So hopefully you'll do a few of those. Basically connect the dots pictures that will give you a lot of bulk practice on this. These are good for making sure you're ready to go on to working with them. So we're going to be looking at the coordinate plane review. Let's take a look at them. Which point has coordinates -5, 3? Now, -5 is the x value, and as you can see, the x-axis is the horizontal, and -5 is located right here. Well, I guess I'll point it out. So there's -5. That's on the x-axis. This is the horizontal axis, and the 3 is where we're located on the y-axis. And what you need to find is where these two correspond or where they intersect, and that's at A. So we're supposed to choose A. This is where I was having trouble before. All right. And I can't even hear my little, make it some noise here. Let's turn up my medium. Not quite that high. It's probably better. Okay, there we go. So now we want the point at -5, -1. Now it's really easy to get these backwards. So you need to make sure that you're always looking on the x first and then the y. So x first, that's -5, -1 is p. And let me show you again. There's -5 on the x, and there's -1 on the y. And where they intersect is at point P. Now, this can't be a guess. It has to be, you have to be absolutely certain. And like I said, a good practice are those lists of points that they give you, and you make a picture out of it. I'll make sure I attach some to this video. Let's see. What are the coordinates of point F? And this time we're looking at -5 for the x value and -3 for the y value. Since x is -5 and y is -3, I need to put that in. And let's see, 5, 4. So we're 5 on the x and 4 on the y, and we're looking at point E. Which point has the coordinates -5, -5? Now I want to mention something as long as I'm at it. We call these quadrants, and this is quadrant 1. 99% of the graphs you'll ever see in real life are all in quadrant 1, because in general, we talk about positive things like distance over time, money over time, things like that. A lot of times our x coordinates are the time going by. And since we can't go backwards in time, there's no negatives on there. Anyway, this is quadrant 1, and we count them counterclockwise. This is quadrant 2, quadrant 3. I mean, you'll notice I'm using Roman numerals. That's supposed to be a 3 there. Sorry, it's kind of getting messed up. And quadrant 4, which looks like that, 1 before 5. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the quadrants. And because they're both negative, they're in quadrant 3. And we want -5, -5, which is C. And the quadrants for -1, 1. Easy to make a mistake. Make sure you locate -1 on the x and 1 on the y, which is E. And point B, I'm just going to put our points in. That's 5 for the x And if you can see it, -3 for the y. Oh, should we put it in there correctly? This one shouldn't take very long, which is nice. Coordinates for d, that's going to be -2, 1. Graph 6, 5 on the coordinate plane. Interesting. Okay, so I am going to graph 6, 5, which is located right there. That's 6 for the x and 5 for the y. Need to be a little careful when you're graphing these. -9, 6, so -9 on the x and 6 on the y. -10, -10, which is down here. -7, 8 is between the -6 and the -8, and at 8. -2, -5 is really good practice to getting good at identifying your points. Graph the points 5. Okay, so now we're looking at 5, 1.5. 5, 1.5 is right there. That's my first point. And 1.5, -2.5. 1.5 and -2.5. And point on the coordinate plane. Oh, okay. So we graphed them both. Hopefully you can all see where I'm at 1.5 and -2.5. And submit it. Let's see. -8, -9, 8, which is right there. And -5, -1 is right there. There it is. And that's all we're supposed to do, I guess. -3.52, -3.52 is right there. And -2, 4.5 is right there. And we're done. -3.51 is right there. And 4, -2. Remember, it's really easy to get these backwards. You need to be really careful when you're graphing these, especially when they're on the axes. All right, so this one is at -5, -0.5, which is right there, and 3.5, -3. 3.5 and -3. -3, -4.5, -3. Oh, I'm gonna have to move my graph up a bit. There we go. All right, so if you want to see it, let me show you what I'm doing. Oh, and then I can't see the question. Darn it. All right. -3, -4.5, and 2, -3.5. I guess I should show you what I'm doing. And this back. And now I should be able to show you what I'm up to. All right, we're going to go to, oh, my pen back. All right, here's my -3. That's my x. That's located right there. That's -3. Oh, I accidentally put a point there. -4.5 is down here on the y, and this is the point we want. We want where those intersect. So we're at -3 and -4.5. And now I want to go to 2, -3.5. 2 and -3.5, which is right here. And it's hard to show you annotations on this because then it starts putting in points and things. But there it is. Now I can annotate it, I guess. Hopefully you all can see that my -3 is right there between, oh, I don't want that one. And it's giving me more points. I better not touch it anymore. So, and we're almost done. Hopefully you'll practice a little bit. Which of the following must be true? Okay, so a good idea is to actually draw the situation because a picture is worth 1,000 words. It says the point XY is in quadrant 3. Well, here's quadrant 1, here's quadrant 2, and here's quadrant 3. Remember, we always go counterclockwise. Here's quadrant 4. That's IV. That's 1 before 5, which is 4. Now, I'm in quadrant 3. Which of the following must be true? So we're in here, we're in quadrant 3, and notice that the x is less than 0. Because if we're in that quadrant, these are all negative. -1, -2, -3. And the y value is also less than 0. So the y values are negative. And which one of those says that x is less than 0 and y is less than 0? Here it is. X is less than 0 and y is less than 0. It says x is less than 0 and y equals 0. So let's draw it. We've got an axis, and it says that x is less than 0. So we're talking about these right here. And it says y equals 0. And it just so happens that the x-axis, its equation is actually y equals 0. This in the middle is where y is equal to 0, because here's your y-axis. And it is on the x-axis, isn't it? And it says x is greater than 0 and y equals 0. So x is over here, and y equals 0 is maybe one of these points, right here, or here, or here. And that is on the x-axis again. Notice the x-axis is always where y is equal to 0. Now, if the point xy is in quadrant 2, here's quadrant 1, here's quadrant 2, which of the following must be true? Well, I have negative x's, so x has to be less than 0. And I have positive y's. Here's the y values, 1, 2, 3, 4. So y has to be greater than 0. X is less than 0, and y has to be greater than 0, which is right there. X, y is on the x-axis. Which of the following must be true? So we've got an x-axis. Notice that every one of these points is always something 0. This is the point 1, 0. Notice that y is equal to 0. This is the point 2, 0. Notice y equals 0. That's the x-axis. And again, we want to know where is x greater than 0. That's these. And y is greater than 0. Oh, sorry. That is not true. That is not what that says. Okay, so let's try this again. It says x is less than 0. That's these guys. -1, -2, -3. And y is greater than 0. That's these guys. And so we want where they intersect, which is in this quadrant right here. That's quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. And xy is on the y-axis. Now this time we're on the y-axis. Here's the point 0, 1. Here's the point 0, 2. Here's the point 0, -3. Notice that the y-axis is always where x is 0. Every time x is 0 on the y-axis. And this time we have x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0. That's down in this quadrant here. That's 1, 2, 3, quadrant 4. looks like we're almost done. XY is in quadrant 1. So XY has to be in quadrant 1. That's where X's and Y's are positive. There's 1, 2, 3, and so on. 1, 2, 3, and so on. So X has to be greater than 0. That's what these say. And Y has to be greater than 0. That would be this one right here. And we're all done. And I hope you all get practice. And don't forget, also make those pictures. They'll be very helpful. And good luck.